We took a little break here, but
We
we're back
did.
now.
And we have a special guest.
Yes, we do. So,
Woohoo!
we have we're both Andrea and Andrea, but let our special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, or do you want us to introduce you? It's up to you.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hey.
Hello, Governor.
Are you doing an accent bit for the whole thing?
Oh,
You're
hi,
like, this is
Mark.
our British. This is this is our British friend
Oh,
here.
hi,
No, I'm
Mark.
kidding. No,
Forgot I had
this is
that
our.
sound.
Here we go.
It's
Delighted to be here.
This is Bree. You do the fart noise, right?
I, I
Oh
forgot it
man.
was a fart noise, but it's just like the sound bit thing just says surprise, bitch. And I was like, what is it? And then I clicked on it. I was like, oh,
Wait,
yeah,
you added that in and then named it surprise.
surprise, bitch. And now I didn't realize, I forgot that it was a fart noise. That's funny.
Well, you gotta do the clap again to make up for it, like clapping noises. There you go. Oh, but yeah, we have a guest. This is
Yeah,
our first episode with a guest, and arguably, aside from us all being roommates in college, we have our number one fan of the pod, Bree here.
yeah, yes.
Woo.
Majority of our viewership in Delaware, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. In all of
When we
Delaware,
saw
you
the
know?
when we saw the map in Delaware, we were like, I wonder who that could be.
Yes. Well, it's like when I look at the Pennsylvania stats, I'm like, oh yeah. It's probably just me re-listening to ourselves. I mean, I mainly do it to make sure we sound okay, but also to give us views. So,
Yeah, true.
yes.
And we're funny. We're funny.
I'm hilarious. And I love because you just have like the random laughs in there.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it's just so
Yeah.
funny.
Comes in clutch.
Yes.
The sound bits. But
Yes.
girls, what are we discussing today?
It's Tell Me Lies, season 2.
Yes. One of the messiest shows on television, I'd say.
Yes. And I thought it couldn't get any messier than season 1. Mm.
Ooh, we didn't know it was coming. I literally just saw a TikTok the other day. Obviously, spoilers if you haven't seen it. We're discussing season 2 today, so this is grounds for spoilers for both season 1 and season 2. So if you haven't listened, you haven't watched either of those, please don't blame us if you get spoiled by anything. We're
Yes.
giving the warning now. But I literally just saw a TikTok
Yep.
today that was the ending scene of the party when Steven walks out with Diana, and
Oh,
then they were like, didn't know it could get this messy, and then all the comments were like, oh, you have no idea what you're in for
yes.
the next season.
When I tell you, I was so shocked when that
Uh-huh.
scene came out.
Yeah.
Like I knew. I mean,
hmm
Stephen DeMarco. I can't stand him.
Steven DeMarco, number one hitman on my number one on
he,
my
yeah,
list.
he's number one on
let
my
me
list.
let me catch hands.
Yeah,
Catch hands.
catch me outside.
Oh man. Catch me outside, how about that?
No, but that whole scene got me, and then I was like, I need a season 2. And when did it come out?
Mhm.
Let's see. I think
Not long. Like I mean, we watched it and then we
yeah,
waited a little bit. But there's people that waited that watched it like when the first season came out
yeah,
immediately and then like had to wait like years. Like I think we waited a year, I want to say.
yeah, yeah.
That
Because it
sounds
came out
right.
in
Particularly
2022, and
I
I
was
don't
about to say
remember.
Bree didn't
Yeah,
have to wait. We originally watched it and then we got Bree into it. And then Bree was like back to back. She was like, I'm finished season 1 and then season 2 came right
I know
after.
that's a good way to watch it.
I know.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why I love TV shows that I can watch after they already fully aired, so I can just binge watch
Mhm.
all of them. But then you have to wait
Yeah.
until the next season comes out. But then also, old TV shows, or like even new ones, where you're watching it as it comes on, having to
Mhm.
wait every week for the new episode.
Nope.
Oh, I did that with Pretty Little Liars. And I just remember every week, because you would be close every week to finding out who A was. And then it would just
Mhm.
end. I have to wait
Yep.
until the next. Oh. But I'm
Yep.
glad I didn't watch it when it came out, and I never heard of it until like I think I was on Hulu and just trying to find. I was bored and trying to find something to watch,
I
And
was
I
about to
was
say
like,
you
"Oh,
found out about it and told
yep."
me, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
'Cause I
Did it
I
just like show up on your recommendations or
yeah,
something?
I guess because it was new or newish, so, like, Hulu pushed it on, like, the, front page. So it was there when I
Mhm.
signed in, and I was like, "Alright." And then I think it was, like, the 2nd or 3rd episode, and I was like, "I'm telling someone about this."
You're like, girl,
Also, did you know it's
can't read.
based on a book?
I knew that. Did you know that, Bray? That it was based on a book?
I found that from you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through the book, and I can honestly tell you I hate him in this version too. He's just as bad.
Is he? He's just as bad. Okay.
Oh,
Is he
he's
even
so
worse, or just like?
oh yeah, he was so bad. And there's this one part that it's like I don't know if it's after they graduate or I don't know what was going on, but he's basically telling Diana that they'll be together after they graduate, and then it goes to like his thoughts, and he's like, "Yeah, I know we're not going to be together." And then the next thing he's texting Lucy, being like, "I want you," and I'm like,
Great.
so like he's like playing
Oh man.
Diana about, "Oh, I definitely love you," and like, "Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
we'll definitely see each other over the summer. We'll definitely do this," and then it's him
Mhm.
texting Lucy like, "I miss you." Can't. In this version, you're just as
Mhm.
bad. Like, I can't.
Maybe even worse too, because they included like the inner thoughts. Like
Yes.
honestly, sometimes in the show, like he just like you don't know like what is this guy thinking?
Yes.
Like it's insane.
Yes. And season two, well, season one, who was your favorite?
Favorite character. I think we might have discussed this. Brie, do you have a favorite character from season one at all? If you had
Season
to pick.
one. Um, Trying to go back into the archives of my brain.
Archives my brain.
Uh, did we like Wrigley in season one too, or was he
No,
kind of douchey?
I didn't. He wasn't
Yeah,
douchey per se, but like you could just tell the drugs were just taking over. And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
He was
seem
just
like a
like
nice
he.
guy, but like you're just letting all the drugs and the alcohol and the, typical college dude
Hmm.
attitude get to you. But Bree, I
I,
really liked Bree in the first season, and
me too. Me
she
too. I was about to
disappointed
say
me.
either her or Evan.
I did like
And
Evan too.
ironically, in season two,
Oh
they both
yeah.
go off the rails for different reasons.
Yes, yeah. So
But yeah,
Lucy kind of annoyed me the first season, um, but she wasn't like awful. And then Bree, I liked. Diana was I liked. Well, she was alright. Like her character.
I think I like season two Diana a
Oh,
little bit more because
yeah.
season
Season
one
two.
we didn't
Yeah,
really get into like season one. She just kind of came off as very like they played her up like the whole like pick me type. I mean, she still
yeah,
is like
yeah,
pick me throughout it, but at least in the second season, I feel like she gets a little bit more
yeah.
like, oh, I should actually like stand up for other
Yes,
women and not just want to like
yeah.
caters to
Like
my own
yeah,
interests.
she
Like,
Yeah.
definitely wasn't like a girl's girl in
no,
the first season, and even in the beginning of
she
the
isn't
second
fully there.
season.
She isn't fully there yet. I
No,
will say she
but
isn't
she's
fully
getting
there,
there.
but she's getting there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wrigley was okay, but the
yeah,
alcohol and the drugs, I was just like, you're like very douchey, but you don't seem like douchey. Like if you just got
yeah,
off the drugs and the alcohol, you'd be a decent guy.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then Pippa, I didn't. I was indifferent.
It was different. Yeah,
I liked her. I think she showed like some really great growth in
Yes,
season two.
yeah. Season
yeah.
one, she just kind of was there. There's, but season two, I liked her better. But in season one, what? How did season two start? Can't remember.
Well, season two, they're back for their sophomore year.
Oh, mhm.
Um, so it starts at the beginning of the school year. So it's basically everybody just coming back after the summer because season one cut off right when it was the end of the year. So we got less episodes this season, 2 episodes less. Much to my disappointment, we got 2 episodes less and less of the school year. Like they straight up were
Yes,
done
yeah,
at the mid of the semester. So like around like Christmas time, like Christmas break was straight up the end of the semester. Whereas the first season was 10 episodes and we got through the entire
Yeah.
first
And
year of
then
their college.
yes.
I wonder why they did that, really.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm wondering
I
if
don't know
they're
if they
trying.
maybe went with the flow of the book, I have no idea, but
Yeah. And
when I
then
saw it was just 8 episodes, I was like, "God damn it, I
I
want
know,
more."
I was so mad. I was like, I want there
Mm.
just to be
'Cause it went so fast,
it
like,
did.
I feel like
Yeah.
we were talking about the beginning of the season, and then we were all texting, and then we were like, "Guys, it's the finale." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
already?
And then so at the end of
No.
the first season, after they're at the party and she sees Diana leave with Steven, obviously she's upset about it. Evan's at the party. I don't know why Bree wasn't there. Maybe she just went home, but she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So Evan and Lucy were talking, and he was like, "Well, what? Like, do you need anything? Like, is there anything I can do?" And she's like, "I just want to get drunk." Bad decision
Mhm. Yeah.
because then they wake up the next day and they realize they had sex with each other.
Mhm.
Um, so that's how it starts in season 2, where when they come back, Lucy's trying to hide that from Bree while avoiding like Evan. And then Pippa comes back and she has this whole like new look about her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Post breakup,
Post
the
breakup.
classic, I'm gonna dye my hair blonde, just like a drastic change. Well, they say like with like hair, like make like when you're going
Yes.
through like an emotional time, sometimes you might make like drastic changes to like your appearance or your hair.
Well, do you
But
remember?
she was definitely doing
Do
that.
you remember in college? Well, you do because it was your hair. But remember
Yeah.
when you remember Bree when she had she had like she did the red hair.
Uh huh.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
that
she
in the
yeah
dorm.
in the dorm, and then was it Crystal that was? Yeah, it was Crystal doing your hair. But I don't think we had enough
Yeah.
box dye,
Mhm.
so we had to like.
Yeah, so it came
Oh
out
my
like uneven.
god, that's right.
And then I
Yeah.
think she left to go get more dye because like you couldn't
Uh huh.
obviously leave. And then you
Mhm.
were washing your hair out because we all had to share a bathroom with like 15 other people.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think I had actually, because we were on one floor, and then I remember the second floor. I think the bathroom was being used on our floor, and I literally had to like run up to the second floor. So
Could
I
you
think I
imagine
used
the
the
sight
bathroom on the
after?
second floor.
Oh my god! Imagine being on the second floor and just going, taking a shower, and seeing that
Yeah,
afterwards. Be like,
yeah.
either someone got murdered or they're just
Someone
on their
comes.
period, and it's just really bad today.
What's so funny? And you know what's the funniest part? I think the floor was all guys too.
Oh yeah,
So
because
they must have been
it
like
did
one
separate. Yes, it
because the
separated.
bathroom.
Yeah,
They're like, to my memory, I remember rinsing it very well. Like I stayed in there for way longer than I had to because I was just like rinsing it and making sure
yeah,
that.
make yeah,
So if it left any residue, it was very little.
but oh
Oh man.
no, yeah.
Yeah, I was a big believer in box dye at one point, but no more. If I want to change my hair that bad, I'm going to a salon to do
Yes, it's
it.
just so expensive.
Yeah, yeah, it's just not worth like when you dye your own hair, the fact like the difficulty of it alone is not worth the money that you save,
Yeah.
I think.
Hmm.
But
And then
because
like
you have
if
to
you
be
miss a
so
spot,
intricate with it.
yeah, if you miss a spot with your box dye, you're screwed because you're
Mhm.
already in too deep with like the bleach and then the dye and then the purple like shampoo or whatever.
Mhm.
So at
Yep.
that point, it's like if you screw up, you're just gonna have a patch of hair that's not dyed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I did end up having. I had an
Yeah.
uneven hair
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I think I have a picture of
And that
that.
was
I gotta see if yeah.
she's just gonna blast me on the internet for
Yeah. That's. I think I have a picture of all of us,
No,
but yeah.
thankfully, this was falling right. This happened right around the time when we were going on a New York trip, and it was cold. So I was like, "Ooh, sick! I'm just gonna wear a hat, and it's just gonna
You're
cover
like
it up."
I fucked up. I'm just gonna wear it. Fuck it. I'll put a hat on it.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, back to Tell Me Lies. Because
No,
again,
but it's kind of
yes,
relevant because we have a hair dyeing scene in this
yes.
show, so
Yeah, she dyes her hair.
you were on par with it.
And I think part of it, because if you remember back to the first season, where Pippa realizes, like, I might not be fully straight. Like, I need to explore my options, see what's out there. So then she was briefly
Mhm.
with Lucy's new roommate, forget her name.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, and so I think
And they never brought her back.
they
I don't know
never
what
brought
happened
her
to her. They were
back.
just like, no.
They never mentioned her
Charlie? I
either.
want to say her name is Charlie.
Charlie,
I think her
yes.
name was
Yeah.
Charlie.
And
Yeah, so
they,
maybe she
yeah.
was just, like, assigned a different roommate, I assume, but,
Yeah.
like, no follow-up with her, they were
Yeah.
just like
Like Pippa in
Placeholder
the
for a couple episodes
yeah,
and then
but
goodbye.
or at least like maybe a text or something, or Pippa being like, "Oh, how's Charlie?" And then Lucy would say something, but no, they kind of just dropped her off. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's probably the reason why she wanted to like dye her hair and explore new options.
Yeah.
Um, and then also in season two, Lucy's best friend Lydia, who we hate. Um,
Let me
Lydia's
tell you.
I can't. Oof, oof, no. But Lydia's brother.
I know Steven's at the top of the list, but Lydia's up there, man. Lydia's easily like probably two or three. Like top
Her and
three
Steven
that
are
we
neck and
hate.
neck. Like I can't.
They deserve each other. They
I was
deserve
gonna
each other.
say that's why they're so perfect for each other.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I no, because so her brother starts school at the same school that Lucy and all of her friends were going to, and she's basically like, look out for my brother, take care of him, make sure he doesn't like fuck up or something. And they're like, okay, yeah. Um, and then of course he starts kind of flirting with Pippa. So there's like a short term fling thing going on. And
Yeah.
then spoiler and just warning and everything else under the sun. But
Yeah,
they're
we'll
at
we'll put like
uh,
a formal like warning
a
in the
warning.
description,
Yeah,
but
in
like
this
this show delves into some heavy topics.
and it
One of them
yes.
being sexual assault. So
Yes.
we are going to be talking about
Yes.
that.
But they're at a party and Pippa's obviously very drunk. She goes in
Mhm.
the room with Lydia's brother, and then she obviously is essayed.
Yeah.
So they don't obviously show it, which is good. Other shows have shown like too much, but they don't show it.
Mhm.
But they show her after the fact where she's just kind of passed out naked, pretty much in bed. And
Mhm.
as he's walking back in the room, Diana sees her and like walks in,
Yeah.
which I don't remember why she was walking around.
Yeah, I think wasn't Lucy just like weren't they just looking for her like they didn't know where she
Oh,
went?
yeah.
And then they were like I think
Mhm.
Lucy was getting ready to leave and then couldn't find her and she didn't know why. She was like I can't find Pippa and I think that's why Diana got involved and then they were just looking
Yes.
for where she was. And then I guess he must have left the door open. I
Or
assume or
yeah,
like it's
I think it was
unlocked
like
or whatever.
cracked open or something or
Yeah.
unlocked. And then he's coming out of the bathroom or wherever he was. And Pippa walks or Diana walks in and sees her there and gets her out and she like freaks out at Lydia's brother. And then she calls Lucy and Lucy comes over and then they get her back to the dorm. But then I feel so bad because Pippa just afterwards kind of shut down. Like
Mhm.
didn't like
Yeah.
and I mean it if I was going through that, like I probably wouldn't want to talk about it either. But every time Lucy would try and get her to be like, "Do you want to go talk to somebody? Do you want to?" She was just like, nothing happened. Like it was just some
Yeah.
stupid party, and you can tell like
Yeah,
that
I
was her
think
way of
I'm just kind of like
yeah,
dealing with it.
yeah,
I think for a while she wasn't really, because I mean he did, because later on there is another incident with another girl where the same thing happened. So I think he did drug her. So like at one point
yeah,
she was like not sure
yeah,
what exactly happened, and then it starts to you see as the episodes go on,
yeah.
she kind of just starts to like remember exactly what is going on. And I think when she hears about the other girl getting essayed too, she was like, "Oh wow, like yeah, this did happen to
Hmm.
me." Like at first, I think she was trying to like not accept that it happened.
Yeah, and I've never been in that situation, but I can only
No,
imagine like
obviously.
feeling like speaking up about it is hard because so many people who try and speak up, you know, the backlash that they get.
Mhm.
Like Kesha was the same way
Mhm.
when all the stuff with her and whatever his name was, um,
Dr. Luke, yeah, he
Dr.
was her
Luke,
music producer.
all that came out, and then she tried to speak up, and a lot of people were on his side,
Yeah.
and it's like, I guess there's no way of knowing without proof, but like if someone's physically coming out and saying like, this is what happened, multiple people have said it, why are you taking his
Mm.
side? I just can't.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, this is like that's like more so present day. This was even like back. I mean, it's set in like the early 2000s and
Yeah,
stuff. So like now there's so much more um like people stand with victims more
yeah,
now than they did back then, like especially since the whole like Harvey Weinstein thing happened and all of that. But
mhm,
this is like early 2000s and like you hear the way they were talking, like people wouldn't talk about it this way now. Like the reactions that even the girls were having, like, I think she made it up and blah blah blah. Like it's just not, the conversation has shifted to believing
yeah,
people when they're telling you something serious has happened to them.
yeah,
So
and then so
it definitely
that
showed
yeah,
it. It definitely showed its time period of where it was from like the initial reactions of how everyone was like responding
yeah,
to it and immediately thinking the girls were lying.
yeah, and then, of course, Diana's trying to check in on her, and then given the history that they've had with Diana, it's like, "Well, why all of a sudden are you just on my side? You're nice to me, you're checking in on me, like, you've never been a girl's girl, why all of a sudden do you care?" Yeah.
Mhm.
And then something else that really bothered me, not with that scene, but after the fact, when they went to get drink or something from the vending machine, and they used Lucy's like card, and
Hmm.
then she accidentally still had it with her. So of course, when Steven saw that she had the card, he was freaking out at Diana, and she was basically lying, saying she's like obsessed with us and blah blah blah. And then Diana comes back to the room, I guess to give the card back to Lucy. And then Lucy goes to Diane and says, "By the way, like, this is who you're dating." Like, he knew Macy died. Like, he was there when she died, and she told him everything. And then Diana was like, "I don't believe you."
Yeah, I don't think Diana fully got it until I want to say it's episode 4 called Just Stable Children, which is when um didn't something happen and he has to go get like an X-ray or something? Like he goes to like the
Yes.
doctor, and then when he starts acting weird about like the accident and everything, and
Yeah.
they start talking about like, oh, you've had this injury for like a while or something,
Hmm.
and then she starts to like look at
Yeah.
him a different way, and that was when I think the gears finally started turning of like she was like, "Oh, yeah, he's, like, lying to me," and
Yes.
then that's when they get back to the dorm and she, like, goes through his computer and stuff. So
Yes.
that
Oh,
was
and that
finally when.
also pissed me off because
Mhm.
she was smart enough to go through his computer, and she realized he had pictures that were like somewhat scandalous of Macy, and she deleted them.
Yeah.
That pissed me off.
I was yelling at my TV like I was watching a football game. I
Let
was
me
so
tell
mad.
you, the amount of times, like throughout the entire season, where I'd be walking, pacing around my living room, cursing at Steven.
I
Like
know. I
like
know.
inanimate, like he's not real.
What what Steven DeMarco does to a motherfucker.
I'm always like, fuck you. Oh my, the entire time I'm just like, fuck you. And I'm like, he's not real. Which is
Yeah, I know.
something that the actor and actress that played them both have said because they're
Uh-huh.
dating in real life. So Grace and
Yeah. We love
Jackson
that
would
though.
talk to each other, and there was an
Uh-huh.
interview with Grace, and she said there was a time where a fan came up to them together, and she like, I guess, tried to warn her and be like,
He was like, "Get
get
away
like
from
get
him."
away from him. I think that's what
Yeah, I saw that
yes,
too.
yeah, and the fan was like, "Get away from him," and she's like, "Okay," and then just
Like,
realized,
girl,
like,
he's an actor.
yeah,
Girl,
it's
he's an
not
actor.
real. Like, he's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah.
He's
But
not
that
real.
just shows how good of an that just shows how good of an actor that he is, that he's, like, bringing out these emotions in people,
Yeah.
like, even in real life, if they can't separate
I
it
don't
from
know. I
him.
feel like, I mean, would I go up to them and say that? No, but if I saw him in the street, part of me in the back of my mind would also be like, "Fuck you." Like, and I know he's like, that's
My
not
god.
obviously him, but oh, I feel like if I did see him in the street, part of me would be like, I just can't stand you, and then have to
Oh my god.
be like, "Oh wait, nope, just the actor. You're okay."
He's gotta, like, get a, Like after Tell Me Lies, he's got to get like a rom com or like a comedy or something that's like
Yes.
more like lighthearted.
Yes.
to
Or
like
He needs like a
yeah.
nice
like
boy role.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, like a Ryan Reynolds, like proposal type role.
exactly.
Like
Yeah. Oh my
just a
god.
funny, you're not an asshole, you're fine role.
Well, you know what he did? I need to still watch it, but like apparently his mom, who's and also plays his mom in the show, um, I forget what her name is. I
Oh,
want to say her name is
it's like um uh Katie,
Kate something, maybe.
yeah, um Catherine Segal, is that how you say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch it yet, but we'll report back after we do. But his mom and I think his parents, they literally have at IRL, his parents literally have a podcast, and they brought him on an episode to like talk. So like maybe that'll bring into
Oh,
perspective like, oh, he's not really
yes.
like the role. Yeah, but that's worth checking out. I don't know what their podcast is called, but he went on it and actually had to talk. It's wild because it's literally like a family talking because it's like his mom and his dad have a podcast and they had him on as a guest. I'm like, I think
Yes.
that's wild,
Nice.
but
Like, yeah,
we'll have to delve into that.
because yeah,
But it's
so
so weird seeing it's so weird seeing all the interviews when they're like
when
being
they're
like like again, you got to
joking and
separate it
laugh,
from it and
yeah.
just be like they're just acting. But I'm
Just
like, damn it,
actors, he's not really an asshole. It's
I know,
fine.
that we know of from what we
That we
see,
know of. But I think in an interview he's like, "Yeah, I'm just kind of a chill guy." When you're like, "Are you?"
And
Like,
then all
"Oh,
the no, but all the comments are always like, "Nice try, Steven."
nice try, Steven. We see right through your lies.
Like, this poor guy's never
I
gonna
never
win
forgot
Brendan's
what
role.
you did to Macy.
I never forgot.
And
Oh my god.
yeah, so because Steven and Diana are both in the same major because they both want to become lawyers. So
Yep.
they have to go through the LSATs,
Ooh, this
and
part, this part.
they have to go through the
LSATs
LSATs, which
scandal.
is law school admission test. So I guess
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how that works, but you have to pass it by a certain
Yeah,
amount.
you have to pass it to get into law school. I
Yeah,
think it's like the same thing. They have a similar one for like if you're gonna go to medical school,
yeah,
like something like similar careers like that, where you have a separate school dedicated to the training of it beyond your college years.
yes. So like anything below like 150 or whatever it was is like fail. Um, so of course they're both worried about not passing. So that's where all of that anxiety that Stephen was getting was from that. And so he had a panic attack when he was at the emergency room. But he was trying to blow it off as if he doesn't have panic attacks. Right? Wasn't he like, that's not what it is?
Yeah, he was just
Mhm.
like, "That's not what it is." Yeah,
Well,
it
what
was
it was
very
it
I don't
then?
know if you guys have ever seen it was very, kind of like similar, like, in The Sopranos when Tony Soprano realizes that he's having panic attacks, he's just like, "No, that's not what it is, that's not what it is," like, the tough guy just trying to play it
Yeah.
off, like, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine,"
Well,
and
what
then it
is it
keeps
then?
happening.
What is it then?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, it's the whole, like, tough guy, like, "Oh, no,
Yeah.
my emotions aren't I gotta control my emotions don't
Yeah.
control me, oh, I'm tough," like, that type deal.
Yes.
The
And
mentality of it.
then um leading up to like these few episodes, which and this really got me. I was so annoyed with this whole thing. But Bree started falling for a teacher.
Oh boy.
I can't.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
more
wait,
that's the whole
yes.
plot line in summary.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So it's
I
Lucy's,
sigh.
yes. Yeah, so it's Lucy's English teacher's husband, who's also a professor at the school.
Um,
Bree, I guess she
John.
saw him in like the hallway.
Mhm.
Um, and she started falling for him. She went out to a restaurant, uh, and like they met and had dinner or something. And then he ended up like fixing her earring, and I guess that's when she realized she wanted to be with him. And then she realized that Oliver, is married to Lucy's teacher, which is also her teacher.
Mhm.
and yet she
Yeah.
still
Why
proceeds to go with
why
it.
did Bree take that class? Do we remember why? Did she
I
take the class before she knew, or
No,
did she
I
take
think
the
she
class
took it
because of it?
I think she took the class because of it.
Okay.
Because in her mind, she was hoping that when she saw the teacher, that she would realize how horrible of a person she was, and that
Yeah.
Oliver would then be like, "Oh, I'll leave my wife for you." But then she
Mhm.
starts taking the class and realizes how amazing this teacher is.
Mm,
So it's like, I was hoping she would be this horrible person, and she's not. She's
yeah.
beautiful and she's a lovely lady and what have you.
And she's very intelligent and very
Yes.
good at what she
She's
does.
writing a book.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. Yeah, because that's why Lucy is like, because this is like the second class that Lucy's had with her,
yes.
right? So now Lucy is basically like her, almost like an apprentice or whatever.
Yes.
She's like helping her like edit her book
Yes.
for like extra like credit to like bring up her GPA.
Yes. And I never understood that only because in the first season, that teacher was so hard on Lucy.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, she's just totally fine with Lucy from the beginning.
You know what I think it was? I think it was the whole thing with her mom. When Lucy writes
Oh,
that essay and then
yeah.
she thinks that she's plagiarizing it, and then she literally has the mom come there and has to talk about it in front of
That's
the teacher.
so awkward.
I think
Yeah.
after that they were like, the teacher was like, "Yeah, this girl has gone through some stuff. Let me like
Let me help her
not be
out.
hard on her."
Yes.
Right, exactly.
But for how can you? I don't understand how you can go for a teacher,
I
let
don't
alone
know.
someone that's married. But like,
Yeah,
that's gross.
I know.
I know
It's
technically
such big
she's
of
an
an age
adult.
difference.
Yeah. And is she? I don't know how old they are, but
They're sophomore year, so they're no older than like probably like 19, 20,
so
something like that.
technically they're adults. But
Yeah.
it's creepy.
Oh yeah, on his
And
end
he's
it's
not
very
that
creepy. I mean, on
attractive.
both ends, but like her, she's kind of like, I guess she kind of likes the like mystery of it all, and
Yeah,
just
and I
like,
think she was still
oh my god, he's
hurting.
older.
He's
Yeah, from Evan.
older.
Yeah,
She's
like
hurt.
a fantasy.
Yeah, a
Hmm.
fantasy. She's dealing with all the stuff from Evan because she
Hmm.
doesn't know that Evan cheated on her with Lucy.
Right.
She just knows he cheated.
He just tells her at the birthday like, "Oh, I cheated," because he was trying to like, because she was starting to get like a little bit of like a hindrance that something was going on, because she was like, "Why are you being like so nice?" Like she just
Yeah,
like overly nice and doing all these things and getting me all these gifts and blah blah blah. And then she could tell after a while that he was doing it because he felt guilty, and then she was
yeah,
like, "What's going on?" And
yes.
then he told her, and then she was like, "No,
We're
goodbye."
done. But
Yeah,
then what I never understood is to get back at him. That's really why she started to go out with the teacher to begin with.
I think so. Yeah,
But she tells
I
him
think that was definitely
openly,
part of it.
like the whole scene where she goes, "Yeah, I cheated on you," and he gets all upset about it, and she's like, "I'm actually lying. I didn't cheat on you, but you're pissing me off because you're getting mad at me for supposedly cheating when I actually
Hmm.
didn't do anything, but you cheated, and now you expect me to not be upset about it."
Yeah, that was a little bit of like
I
a
got
tactic, because I think she knew what was going on, and
Yeah,
then she kind of just needed him to like, she kind of like backed him into a corner to like say it,
yeah,
but I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why.
yeah. But her and the teacher, I can't, and it gets worse.
It gets
It gets
worse.
worse.
There should just be
The
a meme
mom
about this show, and it gets worse.
And it gets worse. It just
It
because
gets worse in the sense of like the messiness of it. I mean, this is such a well written show, but it's so messy. Like the
yes,
getting worse is just basically us
the
talking about the
tagline.
messiness of it
Yeah.
all.
Well, because you have the whole thing with Diana and Steven. They're both taking the LSATs together. And I
Hmm.
always, in the back of my mind, because Diana goes up to Steven and they're reading out their scores. And she says that
Hmm.
she didn't pass. And he's like, there's no way.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do this together. Your dad was going to get us these jobs. We were going to get into the same college, be like this power couple, and you failed. And she's like, "Yeah, and I can't tell my dad. I can't talk to my dad because he's gonna be pissed off that I failed." Um, and he was just trying to like see if she was actually telling the truth or not. But she full on for like the rest of the season till the very end, she was like, "Yeah, like my dad's disappointed in me, like I failed." And then in the back of my mind, I'm like, "There's no way. Like
Mhm.
she's too smart for that. Like there was no way that she failed. I did not think she failed. Like as soon as
Yeah,
she, yeah,
I was about to say you were onto that from the beginning. Like I wasn't sure. Like there was a part of me that I was like, "Oh wow, like what if she did fail and then like now all of a sudden Steven like doesn't respect her just because she like fucked up."
yes,
But I was thinking like maybe they were going to go that route of like, "Ooh, his true colors are showing now that she's like."
not on his
Because he
level.
liked about
Yeah,
Diana, the thing he liked about Diana was like she kind of like stabilized him. Like she always had everything together. She was just kind of like
yep,
this perfect, like everything was always working out for her. So like I was wondering like if they were gonna go the route of like, oh, once he sees her falter, he's like, oh, I don't like you anymore.
yeah.
Which kind of was shown anyway, but I wasn't sure. I was like on the fence, but you from the beginning were like, nah, there
Oh
was no way
yeah,
that she failed.
because the way she is in the first season and in the second season, she's incredibly smart. Like
Hmm.
if she actually legitimately failed, like I'd be very shocked. And I was like,
Yeah.
how is that? No, 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 no.
But I was thinking if she actually did fail, it would have been like her being distracted because that it timed perfectly with like when she started finding out and like
Yes,
fully believing all of the shit that Lucy was saying about Steven.
yes,
So I was like, damn, what if like she actually just like
yes,
failed because of like being distracted with all that shit? But I'm so glad that that wasn't the case.
yep. And then
Mhm.
they fast forward to what is it, Thanksgiving, and it's snowing, so they're all kind of stuck. And so Evan has like a
Yeah, that's
cabin.
episode 6. Yeah, that's episode
Yeah,
6.
it says, "Do your dirty words come out to play?" Um, but they go to Evan's cabin. So you have Steven and Diana, and then Evan and his new girlfriend, and then Bree's by herself because Oliver is with his wife, and they're somewhere else. And then Lucy's with
Mhm.
her new boyfriend, Leo. And I got so annoyed with this too. They played a drinking game
Mhm.
where you take a shot and then you just slap. I forget what they called it, but they just
It's
slap
literally called Slapshot. It's literally called
slap shot.
Slapshot, I think. And I've never partaken, but I think I've been around people that have been playing this game, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I
I
don't-
don't want to get, yeah. So
My luck, I
somebody,
just get the person that's like really slaps me and like knocks the shit out of me. I'm like, I don't need that.
yeah, yeah, and I'm weak,
It just
so I
doesn't
feel like,
sound like
yeah,
fun.
no,
Drunk people with
No,
slapping
it
is not
doesn't
a good
sound fun at
idea.
all.
well, yeah, no,
No.
I
and
think it's like a dude bro thing. They're like, oh, slap me, bro. You know?
yes, and so Lucy's boyfriend, and we learn that at some point he has anger issues. He punched someone in a
Hmm.
coffee shop, um, but he's working on it. He says,
Over like bumping into her though,
"Oh
like
yeah, it
over
wasn't
her
even
little.
like they were beefing with him. It was an
No.
accidental like, so sorry," and then he just threw a punch. And then
Yeah.
Lucy was kind of like, "I don't want to be around someone like that because I already dealt with all of Steven's shit. So like, why would I
Hmm.
want to do that?" Um,
But only if we knew what was to come later in this episode.
yes. And then so they finally reconcile and they're fine. And then they're at
Hmm.
this slap shot Thanksgiving thing.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. And Steven, knowing that, because Steven and Leo knew each other. So
Uh-huh.
knowing that Leo has an anger issue, he chooses Leo every time to get slapped
Mhm.
because he thinks Leo's gonna like fight him to the point where it's gonna just destroy his relationship with Lucy. I can't. Like,
Yeah.
and then so
The way he
Leo,
just was egging him on the whole time, I was
yes,
just like, God, you will never stop. Like and from what happens later, like I mean, it gets to the point where they actually do get in a fight.
Yes.
and then it gets to the point where he's, like, literally beating the shit out of him,
Yep.
and Steven's crazy ass is literally just smiling. I was like, "Are you
Because he
kidding
knows
me?"
he knew what he was doing the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah, he knew
Yeah.
that it
Yep.
was gonna make him look like he wasn't the bad guy. It was gonna
Yeah.
make Leo look bad.
Yeah. And at the Thanksgiving, yeah, he's egging him on the entire time, even when they're cooking together and like Steven's there. He's trying to get Lucy to bring or like ask Leo about his past relationships.
Mhm.
Um, and then Diana, I forget what Diana said, but she said something that pissed Lucy off because Lucy slapped the shit out of her.
He said something, like, about, like, not that like, it was something along the lines of, like, "Oh, well, what kinda girl makes them do that?" Like, something like
Yes,
that, like, it almost like, "Or you're not that ki," like, it was almost like it was like a "You're this certain kind of girl," like,
yes.
comment.
So
And then she just
basically
smacked the
saying
shit out of
that
her.
Steven's the way he is only when he's with you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're that kind of girl that makes Steven do that. But like me,
Yeah, and then
I'm
she
not
just
like
smacks the
that.
shit out of her.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
then smacks the shit out of her and she leaves. Leo breaks up with her. That's a whole thing.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess through his perspective, it was coming out as hypocrisy because it's like, how are you gonna get upset with me and I get angry when you just literally, like, hit someone too?
Yeah, and at least like
So,
not siding with Lucy. She shouldn't have hit Diana. But Diana egged
no.
her on and said something that provoked her. That guy you
True.
beat up in the coffee
Yeah.
shop was just walking and minding his own business. So like you want to
Yeah,
get
and I
mad at
mean,
Lucy.
this isn't right, this isn't the first fight or, like, this, like, argument that they've had, and they
Yeah.
have all this history, and the common link is Steven DeMarco, so
Yeah. And he knows what he's doing and he does it on purpose because he knows it's gonna bother Lucy. And then he got them to break up. So then Lucy's, going off the rails and Leo's going off the rails and I just can't stand him. I can't.
yeah.
Meanwhile, because Pippa's exploring her options, her and
Mhm.
Wrigley aren't together. Um,
Yeah.
and after everything came out about, um, I guess, Pippa and Lydia's brother, there was
Mhm.
a second person that came out speaking up against Lydia's brother.
Yeah, it was someone from, I think it was a sorority, I
Yeah.
wanna say.
Yeah, I
And
think so.
yeah, and then so Lydia is talking with Lucy in the room, being like, "Can you believe this? Like, why would they talk about my brother like that? He wouldn't do anything." And Lucy was like, "You can't just assume he wouldn't do anything. Like, these are victims. Like, if
Mhm.
multiple people like are coming out about the same issues with the same person, like, how can you be so sure he didn't do those things?"
Right.
Like, if one person says something, like, maybe you could say, well, they probably just have issues with me or whatever. But if multiple people are saying the same thing, like, you might want to look into it a little bit. But
Yeah.
if you go and ask your brother, he's not going to say you did that. But then if your best friend is saying there might be, you know, no lies in that statement, who are you going to believe?
And
Yeah, and then
I was really, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
no, 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 you go, you go. Please, we would like
I
to
was
hear
gonna say,
from our guest.
yes, hello, cheerio, I'm still here. Um, I was gonna say, that I was really proud of Lucy for like
Yes.
standing up and saying like, no, Lydia, this is wrong and needs to be investigated, and not just being like, oh, she's my best friend, so I'm just kind of
Yes.
gonna
I
throw
did
it under
like
the
that. Yeah.
rug, blah blah blah. Like, I
Mhm.
like that. I thought that was really
Because,
powerful.
maybe, well, we know it's true because we saw the scene with Pippa, but like, if it wasn't true and these people were just spreading rumors, wouldn't you want to get to the bottom of it so you can prove and say, like, no, we have evidence that states he didn't do it, instead of just saying he would never? When you
Yeah.
want
Right, like
Some
just believing.
yeah,
Again, it's the whole thing of believing the man over the woman.
yes.
You know what I mean? So,
And it's, your family. So of course, you're gonna believe
right,
your
that on
brother
top of
over
it, she's
yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
yeah, exactly.
That's your baby brother. He just started college. He would never do that, you know. But during
And
that
here,
time,
consider this. He did.
he did. And there's proof. Um,
Yep.
but Pippa's obviously still exploring herself. She's not with Wrigley. They're just friends. Um, so her and Diana kind of slowly start to hang out and get to know each other. And then you see in the end, well, actually, is it? I think it's in the beginning. They were showing like the wedding reception, and Diana walks in with Pippa.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's when everybody finally
Yes,
that's when they're like, "Oh, this is like," because there's a couple of events before that where she's either not with her, or I think during the because this show is constantly like going back and forth with flashbacks, like present day, and then they'll be like, "Oh, now it's 2015, and then now we're back in 2007." But like,
yes,
they even had this thing of like at the bachelorette party, she's like, well, I think they technically did a bachelor/bachelorette party, which I've never heard of, but it
yeah,
worked for them. So,
yeah,
but she does like she was FaceTiming with her, and then Lucy comes out to like have a cigarette, and then she like hangs up the FaceTime call really fast. So like that event where she goes with Diana, which I think is the rehearsal dinner,
yes,
is
yeah,
the first time everybody saw them together as a couple.
yes.
So,
And so when you're flashing back through the episodes when they're still in school, like they never
mhm.
get together, but there's always scenes
No.
where they're either like close or like at Thanksgiving, Lucy obviously is told to leave. She's not there,
Mhm.
but Diana's sleeping on the couch with Steven. And
Yeah.
then Pippa's on the couch with Wrigley, but they're texting each other. So
Yeah,
you can
while
kind of
the
see,
the
yeah.
boys are asleep, right, exactly.
So even at the end of the school year, like they never make things official. There's never anything that shows how they ended up together. You just
Mhm.
know it based on the fact that they show up to the rehearsal together. So I'm hoping in season 3 they bring it up on how they actually met
Yeah.
in terms of getting
I
into a
imagine it was
relationship.
probably
Yeah.
it probably was outside of school
Yeah, because she already would have
because
graduated.
right, right.
Um,
Because are Steven and Lucy the same year, or is he a year ahead of her?
he's a year ahead, I think.
Okay,
I think
think
him
so.
and Diana are seniors, maybe.
Well, no, 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 because they're oh yeah, they're sophomores and senior too.
Yeah,
Like this senior two, year two,
yeah,
season two, they're sophomores, so he's already so they're 2 years ahead.
hmm,
So they still have a couple more years. So maybe like
yeah,
season three will show the dynamic of like what
yeah,
happens throughout the rest of
yes,
college, and I hope we need a season two ASAP. I need a confirmation
yes.
of
I
season
there's a
three
lot of
immediately.
there's a lot of stuff I need confirmation on. How do they get together? We obviously know in the end she's not with Steven, Pippa,
Hmm.
or Diana. But I'm wondering how she ends up going back to Pippa. Don't know. That I need to know that in season 3.
Yeah.
And then so that was like a whole thing. And then this is where this gets me the most, I feel like. But um Bree and the teacher.
Oh god.
Let's get back to them. I can't.
Yeah, because now we're at the point where it's the
Ooh,
last two episodes of the
yes.
season, and damn, they said these last two episodes are
Oh,
gonna be
they
the
yeah, they
craziest
announced
2 hours
it.
of television that
They
you've ever seen.
announced it.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. So she's in love with the teacher. He claims
Mhm.
they love each other. There was a Christmas
She
party
calls
at
she calls him her boyfriend at one
yes.
point, and then Lucy's like, "What?" Like,
And poor Lucy's just dodging like everyone. You got Pippa who doesn't want to talk about what happened to her. So
uh-huh.
she has that secret that she's holding on to because
Yeah.
they didn't tell
Oh,
Bree.
that's right.
Then Bree never knew about it. Then she's holding on to Pippa's or Bree's secret.
About
Pippa
the
doesn't know
teacher.
that, yeah, about the teacher.
Uh-huh.
Like
And
she's
then she's
told,
holding on to the stuff that she knows about Steven
yes,
that nobody's really listening to her about. I mean, she wrote the letter, and that all happened, but
Yeah.
that still never got resolved, and the
Nope.
people that she wants to know about it aren't believing her, aka Diana. So
Yes. So she told Diana, but
Mhm.
Diana at that point doesn't believe her. So like she's holding on to and then the fact that she slept with Evan, that's still a secret.
yeah.
So
Yep.
like she's holding on to
Man.
everyone's secrets. Like, oof, no. And but you find
Yeah, I
out,
never realized until now how much she's, like, actually carrying with her, like, day to day.
yeah. So
She's got her own shit going on, and then she's got everybody else's shit that she's
yeah.
worrying about too.
And she's just, I guess she's everyone's person, so everyone's problems are now her problems, and she can't tell
Mhm.
anybody else. Because
Mhm.
imagine telling Pippa, like, hey, Bree's sleeping with my English teacher's husband, and they love each other. And then imagine going to Bree and being like, oh, by the way, Pippa got essayed at a party months ago. Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. And then so you're just holding on to everyone's secrets. I couldn't imagine doing all that. And then to fast forward, and it's Christmas time, and they're at a Christmas party at the teacher's house because I guess she invites her students over around the holidays. Why would you purposely have sex with the teacher at his house while his wife is there and a whole bunch of students?
So messy.
Like, there's no reason for that. Like, you couldn't hold it together. Like, you couldn't hold, no. There's no reason you
She
couldn't
said,
keep it
she said,
together.
"I'm here for the," she said, "I'm here for the drama."
Yeah, really.
Oh my
And then,
god.
so they go in the laundry room,
Mhm.
they have sex.
Yep.
And I love how afterwards she's like, I need to clean off. And he just gets one of his wife's clothes. He's like, here you go.
And
Like,
he's like,
Oh
"Well, I
my
guess
god.
we're in the laundry
you,
room anyway."
you mean to tell me there's no towels or anything? You're getting me her own lingerie to wipe
Yeah.
myself clean with? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
then she
guess he would,
started,
I guess
yeah,
he might have had to have, like, gone out of the room to go get it, and I guess he didn't wanna take the chance of, like, her being there or something, I don't know,
still
but
laying there, you know.
yeah.
And then, well, so yeah, she starts freaking out because maybe this isn't a good thing. Maybe it is a good thing. And she's like freaking out, and she's about ready to like tell everybody. And then he's like, "Don't do that.
Mhm.
Like, I love you. I love you." And she's like, "I love you too." And then all of a sudden they're fine. And then he leaves. And then
And then let's not forget that she, thinking in the middle of it, is like, "Hmm, I'm gonna let this, like, crash and burn." She's like, I'm gonna purposefully
yes,
leave my earrings
that he bought.
in
Yes,
in the clothes here." And then she's thinking in her mind like, "Oh, this is what's gonna, like,
yes, because
make
this
her
is
know, like, find out."
yeah, because this is the first time he said, "I loved you." I think so.
Yeah.
Like now that I know he loves me, and this is the real
Yeah.
deal. But I love how after he leaves the room, girl, wait a few minutes so you don't look suspicious. No,
Yeah,
you
right.
leave
She
like
walks
two
out, like,
seconds
railing.
after he leaves. You
Yeah.
leave, and then Lucy's looking over at you like, really? Really?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
she leaves and
Like,
then
she couldn't
comes
have played it
back.
off and
Yeah.
stayed, right, like, she couldn't have played it off, like, a couple minutes, like, acted like, "Oh, there's a bathroom, like, next to the door," or something, you know what I mean?
Been like,
Like,
oh,
somehow.
that's not the bathroom.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
drunk, sorry. But no, no. And so she leaves, but
But
then,
Lucy,
yeah.
I was just gonna say, Lucy has no room to talk
Oh, she
about
doesn't.
things being messy because she was
No.
dirty
Oh,
in
Yeah.
yeah.
that scene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
talk about
Dirty
it. What
and
was
grimy.
it, this was the same, was this in
Yeah.
episode 7 or episode 8? The good old, like, going
Oh,
from
yeah,
Steven
yeah,
to
no, no, yep.
Double
Oh,
dipping.
that was episode 8.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But yeah, Lucy has no room to talk. She's just as messy. But
Mhm.
Bree comes back into the laundry room, and like you said, she's like, you know what? He loves me. I know he loves me. So I need them to break up so he can be with me. And the way I'm going to do this and the way it's going to work, I'm going to leave my fancy, expensive earrings he got me,
Yeah.
in her clothes or his pant
Mhm.
pockets. And so when she does laundry, assuming that she does the laundry, but um,
Yeah, I mean, what if
what if
that's
he
not even
does?
a foolproof pan? What if he does the laundry? Exactly.
And clearly he did, um, because in the next scene when they're in class, she's wearing his earrings or her
I
earrings.
I talk about, like, I was gagged by that. I
Yes,
was just like, "Oh my god," like, she walked in with the earrings, and I saw, you just see Bree's face, like, stink, like, you're just like,
and I love the teacher,
"Why did
like,
she"
but the teacher not only wore them, she, like, put her hair behind her ears so like, people
Uh-huh.
could see.
Ye
Like, she knew what she was
Mhm.
doing. So at
Uh-huh.
that point, we don't know anything else about what's going on. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking to myself, like, did at that point, did he say, "Oops, sorry, these were your Christmas gift, and I just didn't forgot to wrap them," or like, I
Well,
don't
I
know
don't know
how.
because later
Well,
on when
later
we
on,
find
yeah,
out well, later on when we find out in the finale that she's known about her the whole time, like,
yeah,
I don't even know if it was just like,
no,
"Yeah, these are hers, but you can just wear 'em."
yeah, but before you find that out,
Yeah.
you're like, how did he go
Right,
about
you don't
explaining?
know
Yeah, you don't know
exactly.
at that point. Um,
Yeah.
but
So they really leave it up to your interpretation, like, which did she just know, or was that like, "Oh, yeah, this is your Christmas gift," like,
oops,
who knows?
sorry, I forgot to wrap it. That whatever. How he explained it, or did he do the laundry, found the earrings, hid them?
Mhm.
Like he could have done the laundry, and maybe the wife never even saw the earrings to begin with until she got them as like a gift.
True.
But you don't realize that in the end. And
Yeah.
then the finale, it's a lot.
This was
So first you start off the whole season, and you guys probably agree. Like you don't find like there. What's his brother's name?
true,
Wrigley's brother, Drew.
true.
The whole
That's what
season,
we that was the common theme throughout the entire season. We were like, "Why have
yes.
they not shown Drew?"
So like
There
in
was a
the
lot of shit
first,
that went
yeah,
down.
yeah, in the first season, Drew, you find out that Drew technically was the one that caused the car accident that Macy was in. He was drunk and didn't see Steven driving head on, and so they crashed.
Mhm.
Um, and then Steven tells Lucy about it. Lucy ends up realizing like I can't keep the secret in, so I'm gonna write a note and leave it at like the principal's office or whatever, dean's office, saying like check in with Drew. He knows what happened to Macy, and then that's the last you really hear of him. And so the entire season, you see Wrigley trying to call him. He never picks up. You're wondering the entire season what's going to happen.
Yep.
But in the first season as well, when they showed the opening scenes at the wedding or the wedding party or reception or whatever, um, Wrigley goes to Pippa and is talking to her, and then he knocks over everything on the table, and then they, Evan and Bree turn to Lucy and go like, "Be nice to him today. Like it was his brother's birthday yesterday."
Yeah.
So like in the first season, you kind of think like, well, they said was his brother's birthday, so like, did he pass? Or maybe they just don't talk anymore. You never really understand it until later on. But of course, in the last episode, um, Drew finally talks to Wrigley. They make up. They're all good. But of course, they get drunk at a bar. And they take drugs that they shouldn't. And then the next morning, Wrigley wakes up and he's like, "Come on, Drew, like get up." And then obviously Drew doesn't get up. But he's like,
Yeah.
"Drew, like come on, seriously, just get up, man." And then he looks at Drew and he's like, "Crap." And then he keeps trying to wake Drew up, and then Drew never wakes up. And then
Yep.
and they go to the hospital, and then he obviously passes away, which
Mhm.
ah, that got me so much.
I didn't have to do all that. I'm like that. I was just like, "Come on." Like, they really did, like this happens sometimes in, like, movies and TV and stuff. They'll bring back, like, a character that hasn't been around, and then, like, something tragic happen like, it's
Yes,
like they got the reconciliation. At least this is what the only silver lining about it, I'm like, at least they were able to reconcile their relationship
before he
before
passed. Yeah.
he passed away. That's the only silver lining about the entire thing.
But
I
it
was very
yeah.
happy that it wasn't just like a thing where he hadn't been seeing Drew and then all of a sudden he finds out he's dead.
Yeah. Like, at
At
least he didn't
least they
get
were
a
able to
phone call or
reconcile.
yeah, he didn't get a phone
Right.
call from his parents or anything. But then
Mhm.
imagine Wrigley having to be the one to call his parents or, like, the hospital
Yeah.
calling his parents. Like, I couldn't
Mhm.
imagine. Um,
Yep. So
but
sad.
what shocked me, and we find out why he did this, but when they're talking in the hospital, Lucy and Steven already made up because Leo basically beat the shit out of Steven. And as we mentioned, like, Steven's smiling the whole time. Which, like, how do you not notice he's, like, smiling as he's getting beat up? Um, but he's getting beat up.
Yeah, he must have just been like like he got him to the point where he was because he had been egging him on like
Yes.
the entire night and they were all drinking and everybody was like,
Yeah.
add that to it that everybody's drinking on top of it. So he was just I think he got to the point where he just put him in like a blind rage and then he just like
Yes.
went for it. Like he wasn't looking at him. He didn't know what was going on. He just kept going cuz even
Yes.
it took a lot even for like like Lucy was trying to push him off him and then she was yelling like stop, stop and then he like
Stop, you're,
wouldn't
like,
stop
hurting,
and then
like, yeah.
right and then
You're gonna
it was somebody else had to come over. I think was it like Evan or somebody else had to
yeah, I
come
think
over and like
Evan did or yeah.
physically like pull him off of Steven.
Which in
Like, I was
well,
thinking in the back of my mind, I was like, "Damn, what if he, like, kills him?" Like, I was that was a
yes.
possibility in my mind at that point, I was like, "Damn, what if he just, like, kills him, like, right
Straight up
here?"
oh, yeah. But
That
then
would've
it
been
yeah.
insane.
And
But then the show, I feel like, wouldn't have been able to
oh,
go on
no.
because he is one of the he's I mean, I guess you could argue that, quote, unquote, "Lucy's the protagonist," but he is one of them. I would say him and Lucy are, like, the, quote,
Yeah.
unquote, "protagonists." So I'm like, "Nah, this show can't go on
Yeah.
without him."
And
Who would be
also
there to be as
he's seen
toxic
at
as
the
he is,
he's
you know?
seen in the wedding scene. There's some wedding scenes in the future that
Yeah,
he's seen at,
exactly.
but at the same time he's getting beat up so bad, but he's smiling and I'm like, he knows what he's doing. He doesn't like Lucy and Leo together. So he's going to do
Yeah.
whatever he can to make it so that Lucy will never want to get back together with Leo. Like, either he doesn't want to see her happy or he does, only with him. So, like, he
But
got
damn,
beat
it is so wild what he will go through to prove
yes.
his point, like his cause. Like he is gonna literally get his face bashed in to just prove a point. Like
Yes.
he's insane for
Yeah.
that alone.
Oh, yeah, and then so, they reconcile a little bit. And so when they're
Mhm.
at the hospital, Lucy then starts feeling really guilty about writing the letter because that ultimately is what caused Drew to kind of spiral, along with just the fact that he killed Macy. And then she was freaking out and she was about to tell um, Wrigley that she wrote the letter, but then Steven interjected and he put the blame on himself. And he was just like, "Hey, man, I feel like I need to say this, and I know now's not everything's going on right now, but I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't tell you that I was the one that wrote the letter."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "No, it's okay, man," and they were both fine. But I'm thinking, but at that point, I was like, "Wow, either he must really love Lucy that much if he's going out of his way to
Yeah.
potentially lose Wrigley as a friend."
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
didn't even think he was doing it for his own personal gain. I
Mhm.
at that point I was like, "Oh, he maybe they will end up together and like
Yeah.
he'll
Because
be a better person."
because this was post that scene when which I was like, "Oh my god, chef's kiss," like, the acting, when it's the scene where they're both kind of, like, walking in one of the hallways in school, and this is after, like, the Thanksgiving had happened and
Yes.
Leo broke up with her, and she's going like, "Why?" She's like, "I just loved you, like, why have you been torturing me because of that?" And she
Yeah.
was like, "All I ever did was love you, why are you, like"
Yeah.
and she just, like, is tearing up, and
Yeah.
then that's the first time that I ever see Steven, like,
Speechless.
actually,
Yeah.
like feeling emotions towards what other
Yeah,
people are
cuz
saying, like,
the
most
way
of the
she
time he's
expl
just, like, stone-faced, doesn't really care if somebody's upset with him, but she said that and she was like, "I just loved you, why are you, like,
yeah.
torturing me because
Like,
of
out of
that?"
everyone, like, I'm the one that through everything stood by you. I'm the one that knows everything and has still stayed by you.
Yeah.
Why are you treating me the way you are when you know that no one's gonna ever love you the way I loved you?" And then he
Mhm.
just kind of was like, "Oh,
Yeah, and I
okay,
think that was the reason why he did the thing with, Wrigley, because he was like, "Yeah, let me just, like, stop, like, let me take
yeah,
some of this, like, blame away from her," you know?
yeah."
But oh, man.
I just can't. So obviously, that broke my heart when Wrigley's brother died, and
Yeah,
then
please, because we
yeah,
had already seen Wrigley, like, kinda going through it and kind of, like, the aftermath of, like
yeah,
he ended up probably being the one of the characters that I felt the most for,
yeah,
like, sorry for, because like, the whole season we had seen, like, the aftermath of, like, him trying to get back on his feet, but then everybody just being like, "Oh, no, like, you have, like, too much going on." Like, he was even trying to, like, get, like, what, like, a coaching
yeah,
gig or, like, a coaching job,
yep.
and the coach was like, "No, no, you got too much going on." Like, he's, like, dealing with, like, a can see, like, the aftermath of, like, the drug abuse and, like, mental health issues, like,
And
he was
then
just
like
trying
what
to get
he's
on his
yeah,
feet.
what are you going to do it? Because then he realizes, oh, Steven's studying for like the LSATs. Like,
Mhm.
what do I have in my life? Like, I have no
Yeah.
girlfriend. I didn't care for the past 3 years of my school like time. I did
Mhm.
drugs, alcohol. Like, I have nothing going for me. And then he tries to get the assistant like coaching job, but the coach was like, no, you know, you're not fit for this job. And then that
Yeah.
didn't work out. So then he's kind of like, well, what am I even doing here?
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
everyone else has some sort of plan in their life and I'm just here. And then his brother dies. Like, he
Yeah.
cannot, poor guy can't catch a break.
He can't, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I felt so bad for him.
I, s-
I
I,
know.
and like, of course, when he's in the hospital crying because he gave his brother the pills and he obviously
Mhm.
didn't know. They were like
Yeah.
compounded in a way where like you can't break them up, the
Yeah.
pills, because then it just either I forget how they
It
explained it,
becomes
but
too potent, I think.
yes. So like
And
you're
then
supposed
on top of it, they were drinking alcohol. Like any
Yep,
type of medication like that, I'm pretty sure it was like what, like a pain medication, I think?
yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
So
so.
anytime like
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
they always say like don't drink with these medications anyway, even if you're not breaking them up, like even if
Yes.
you're just taking them as they're supposed to be directed, it obviously says like strongly do not take with alcohol. So he's just
Yes.
like recreationally taking them and also taking them the way that they're not supposed to be taken, like breaking up the actual compound.
Yes.
So as soon as he did that though, the way the camera zoomed into his hand, I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
something's wrong." Like I got
Yep.
a feeling I had a pit in my stomach as soon as he was like, "Here, you want one of these?" And the way they zoomed in the Wrigley's hand, I was like, "Oh, something's gonna happen." I was like, "Oh, I didn't know if it was just gonna be like an OD situation or if he was gonna die." But I was like, as soon as they showed that, I was like, "Oh no,
Something, yeah.
not good."
Yeah.
Yep.
And then during this episode too, Bree goes to Oliver's house, the teacher that she's sleeping with, and basically tells him like, "I want to do this now. Like, let's have sex or whatever." So they
Yeah.
have sex, and he claims that Marianne's not supposed to be home, which is his wife. She ends up coming home. So, of
Yep.
course, she's freaking out. She's grabbing all of her clothes. He's in the shower, and Marianne walks in.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh shit. Because now she's
Yeah.
going to find out that her husband is having an affair with a student.
Mhm.
But then you realize
Mhm.
that she knew the entire time.
Yeah. Cause as soon as like she walked in, like I was just like, no one is that like it she was
Yes.
so,
She was very nonchalant
like,
about it.
very
Yeah.
weirdly calm, like, she was just like Brie was the one freaking out and just like, oh my god," and then she wasn't, like, yelling or nothing, she was just like, "It's okay," like, I was like, "Wait, why is
Yeah.
she, like,
Because, like,
so
if I
okay?"
walked in on my husband like that, I'd be tearing up the place. Like,
Oh,
where is
yeah.
he? Like,
No,
Oh yeah.
where the
it's
fuck is
not gonna
he?
be a calm
No.
situation. As soon as you hear the shower, I'd be going into the shower, he'd be out of the shower because I'd be pulling him out of the shower.
Like,
What is going on,
and so
Like, but she was
like you said, when she
so
walked in
calm.
and she was just like, "It's okay." like, "It's alright, like, it's alright."
Like, is
And
it? I
then
was like,
And then
she
why?
she's like, "Where is he? Is he at the shower or something like that?"
yeah,
Like so
yeah, and
calm. Like,
she's
where is
very
he?
calm about it, and they're in the
What?
uh, he's in the shower, and she's just kinda like, "You go get changed, and I'll be downstairs," and let him shower.
Mhm.
And then he comes out of the shower, and they're talking about it, and he's so calm. He was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, yeah, Marianne, she knew this entire time. We have an open relationship. She knows
Yeah.
about you. She's known about you this entire semester. We're allowed to like see and have sex with other people.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, that's the whole point of an open relationship, but like you have to tell your
Uh-huh.
the people you're with that you're
Yeah.
open. Like they never
Right.
mentioned it to Brie. So
Right.
this whole time when he's saying he loves Brie and he wants to be with her and he wants to do all of these things, like she in her mind really truly believes that, you know, he's gonna one day leave his
That
wife.
he means those things,
Yeah.
exactly. Because it's like, I just find it like that. That was a whirlwind of a scene. The way it was like, it was first like she caught them, and then she comes down and talks to her about it, and then it was like we have an open relationship and all that, and she knew and all. I was just like,
Yes. And the way
what?
he
I
yeah.
understand that she's not morally right for like cheating, like having him cheat on his wife, but why would you like? It's not like if she's mature enough to go through this whole situation and be like hooking up with him. Why did you not think she was mature enough to know that you were in an
Yes.
open
Yeah.
relationship? Like, I just found that so fucking weird.
Yeah. And then
They couldn't just
also
tell her that.
yeah, and give her the option to say no. Like
Yeah,
if
right. Like
you
if you
know,
give her, if you say like, "Oh, we're open," do you still like like my wife would be okay with it because we're open, like she goes with people, I go with other people, like, and then if she's like, well, no, I don't really like, then that's fine, but like tell her. Like,
tell her,
I
give
just
her
found
the
it so weird
option.
that they didn't tell her. Right.
And yeah, she's obviously pissed off. Marianne's downstairs.
Hmm.
She's talking to him about it. And the way he's describing it, it was like, well, this is your fantasy, isn't it? Like this is what you want. Like didn't he kind of try and say stuff like that to her? Like put some
It
blame on
kind of like,
her.
I feel, yeah, but like I don't remember exactly what he said. He was just kind of like made it like it was like a weird I just still don't understand why they don't, because this again, this is probably like one of her like for like I know she was with Evan, maybe like somebody before, I don't know, but like no, she was with like just the one guy, Tim, who she
Yep.
lost her virginity to him in season 1, and
Yes.
then Evan was like her first like
Real. Yeah.
relationship. So like she's not like, you know what I mean? Like she hasn't really been exposed to these types of situations. So like
Yeah.
I don't get why they couldn't just like tell her, and it probably would
Yeah.
have changed. Obviously that's not the way the show went, but it was just like so manipulative and weird on their end that they didn't
Yes.
think it was gonna like emotionally affect her.
Uh
You know
huh.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
bizarre.
it was bizarre and it pissed me off when Brie was leaving and Marianne's just like reading or whatever. She's just in the living room acting
Mhm.
like, yeah, this is normal for
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like
right. Like I hated the one line where she was like, "Oh,
you'll
you'll get like just
yeah, you'll
assuming that Bree's
yes.
this like, you know what I mean? Like it's a regular Tuesday to her,
Like
like, oh,
you'll
she'll
get
have
used
another
to it.
guy, you
Yeah.
know? Right. And then she was like, what if I don't? Like, what if I like you don't know? Like she
Yeah, and
said it
she's
back
like,
to her. She was like,
"No,
"Oh, you'll be
seriously.
fine."
You'll be fine." And it's like I
I
just
hate
found out the boyfriend that I fell in love with, who's married.
yeah.
Um I just found out his wife knows. They played me this entire semester, which is
Mhm.
how long? 5, 6 months worth of school?
Yeah, because they
Like,
usually college usually starts in August, and this is like December by
yes.
now.
So like 5, 6 months worth. And you're telling me I should get over it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
I couldn't stand Marianne after that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
And then I thought it was super fucking weird too when she like talks to Lucy afterwards.
yes,
And
yeah,
then she goes, "Oh, like Mary, like girl, I don't know what kind of hold he's got. I don't know if he's got more money than she has. I don't know if he just provides everything. I don't know if she's just like complacent and just like feeling stuck. But it's like it seems like she needs to get out of that marriage because it's like like she says to Lucy, "I'm just glad he didn't find you first." I'm like,
Oh,
what does
oh,
that mean?
oh, I wanted to
What does
throw up.
that
It was
mean?
so weird.
I wanted to throw up. I was
But
like,
it's like,
"That's"
girl, like, you know what I mean? Like, sound on her end, like, if they're in this type of like
yeah,
agreement of like the healthy, like open, you know what I mean? Like, if they're fully both on board with this, why would she even say, you know what I mean? That
right,
makes me seem like she's resenting part of it and
yeah.
not really, you know what I mean? Like, maybe
Or,
he's
like
just like off doing whatever, and then she's just kind of like, you know, like just kind of like
yeah, and also,
resenting him secretly for it, you know?
like, maybe, her being with Bree, like, it didn't matter to her at all, but I think maybe
Yeah,
if he was with Lucy, she would have gotten a lot of jealousy out of it.
yeah.
So maybe she
Maybe
just
because she saw
thinks
something in Lucy. I don't
yeah,
know. It's just so
Maybe Lucy's more attractive in her mind,
Yeah.
so, like, it would be more
She was
jealousy
like, "This girl
coming
could ruin my marriage."
yes.
Like,
Like,
oh my god.
Bree's Bree's an
Right.
innocent yeah,
Yeah.
like, Bree's this innocent young girl. She doesn't
Mhm.
know anything.
Yeah.
She's, just but Lucy, given Lucy's past and everything she knows about and I'm pretty sure she knew about Steven and some of the stuff with that. So, like,
Mhm.
she knew that I think she knew Lucy could have actually, like, ruined her marriage.
It's
Yes.
still, oh my god.
It's
Just adding to the messiness
yes.
of it all.
And, like, so you
Oh
think
man.
like, the end of the year's coming around. Things
Mhm.
seem okay. Wrigley seems like a little bit better.
Yeah.
His friendship with Pippa's strong. And then,
Yeah.
um,
And I mean, they do have that one incident of them,
oh,
like,
they,
hooking up. I don't know if
yeah.
they're gonna keep doing that, but obviously later on that doesn't keep happening, but
Yeah. So maybe
maybe
that
that
was
was
just
just,
the,
like, a
well,
weird, like, closure thing. I don't
yeah,
know.
because she
Who
also
knows?
said that Evan or Wrigley never actually made her come. So I'm
Yeah,
wondering
like,
if,
she said she
like,
was faking it.
she was
But who
faking it.
knows if she was faking it again? Like, that's what I don't know.
Yes.
Like, who knows if she was faking it again, or maybe she actually did genuinely enjoy the experience, and then that was
Yes.
enough for her to be like, "Yeah, I
I'm
don't
gay.
know. Like, I'm just gonna
Yeah,
keep
yeah, I'm
going."
gay now. Thanks. Um, oh, yep. Definitely not straight. Uh,
Yeah. Oh,
or
no.
maybe she just never actually came that time either, but I feel like she
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
feel
I
like it
feel like
was
the way
her
that they,
one
like,
last
shot it,
chance
the
to
way
yeah. It was her like one last chance to actually like figure out what she wants in life on that end.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. And if anything,
Mhm.
I really did like, and I know we discussed this before, regardless if they would ever like hook up again or be together again, I just liked that they had good genuine friendship. And then I
yes,
think
yes,
like later on in the series, like they'll be able to like open up to each other about certain things.
yes,
And to be honest, Wrigley took her being with Diana pretty well in the end.
yes. But I
Because he was just like at the wedding, like the one thing he was like, I guess I should let go of that crush that I've had for 10 years, and I was like,
yes.
oh, like he's taking this very well.
Yes,
You know?
but I always wondered because in the scene where he knocks over all the stuff
Uh
and he
huh.
was like, "Oh, Pippa," and then she obviously shoots like Lucy a dirty look.
At the
Yeah.
engagement party,
So
right?
like something I don't know why she would feel that way if they were such good friends. Unless
Yeah,
they just
I
stopped
think.
talking
Well, I think
maybe,
that
I
was
don't know.
before
True.
because her and Diana don't um aren't shown as a couple until
Yeah.
later on when they're actually almost when Brie and Evan are almost getting married.
Yeah.
So I think maybe in between then, I think when he saw her with Diana, he was like, see, he saw her happy with someone else, and then he was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah, I should probably just let this go now. Yeah,
But at least it's not him. As a
yeah,
person, it's just like you don't have the right parts. So it's
yeah,
fine.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yep, that's one way
Oh
to put
man,
it.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it would suck, but then at the
Mhm.
same time, at least it's not like he's not leaving me for another woman. He's just leaving me for
Yeah.
a man, and I can't do anything to change that. So
True. Yeah.
at least I'd rather have that than be left for another woman. So he
Yeah.
took it well,
True. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
And then here comes down to
oh
the
god,
last
yeah.
the
So
last probably the most pettiest thing
oh
I've
my
ever
god,
heard in
so
my
it's the end of the year.
yeah.
Evan and Steven are talking.
Uh-huh.
And Evan goes up to Steve and he goes, "You know what? I'm really proud of the fact that you told the truth when
Mhm.
even though it wasn't the truth, but you
Yeah.
told the truth about writing that letter and you worked it out. And I really don't want to end the school year. Now that you're good with Lucy, I don't want to end the school year on a bad note. So, like, I need to tell you something. I slept with Lucy. That's who I
Mm.
cheated on Brie with. And then,
I was wondering if he was gonna ever tell him, and then when he told him, I was like,
don't do
I
that.
don't think you should have done
No, and Steven was like overly calm about it,
that. Mhm. Taking it
which
a little too well. A
yes,
little
was
too well.
outside.
and he was like, "It's okay." He was like, "I need a few moments outside." And then when he
Mhm.
goes outside and he's standing there and he sees Lydia, and I
Yep.
was like, "Oh my fucking god!" I was like, Absolutely not."
I was like, here
And
we
then
go.
because he
Here we
ends
go.
up with Lydia,
Yeah.
and then there's a
And then we
scene
were
where
we're always
yeah,
wondering why,
yeah,
how, and then now
now you know
the
why.
pieces are
And
starting to be
then
put together.
there's a scene at the wedding party or whatever where Lucy's waiting to use the bathroom, and then Lydia walks out. And then Lydia goes up to her and says, like, I'm trying to be strong or whatever for Steven, but I'll never forgive you for what you did. And Lucy's just kind of standing there. And I'm assuming it's the fact that um, her brother, like, she believed her brother did all that. Unless there was something else going on. But it made it seem like that's what she was upset about. The fact that Lucy agreed with all the students that he did do those things to Pippa and everyone else.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that's why. But you see Steven cooling off outside. He sees Lydia, gets her number, and Lydia goes up to Steven. Obviously, she's still pissed off. She goes up to Steven and says, like, Lucy has said all these horrible things about you,
Mhm.
but I don't believe them. I never once believed anything she said about you. You're not, who
Oh
she
my
says you
god.
are. Like, fuck off, Lydia. She pisses me off too.
Lydia's the definition of pick me. Lydia is the definition
Yes,
of pick
yep,
me.
yep.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, it's like that scene
To
in
throw I don't care how mad you are, to throw your friend under the bus like that
your best
and
friend of
kiss up
how yeah they've known
and
each other since they were kids, weren't they? Like,
and to kiss up to her abusive ex, weird.
yes,
Like, just weird.
just because you don't believe her when she says he did assault those girls. Like, if you don't
Yeah,
want to believe her, don't believe her. But
right.
like, this entire time that he's an abusive asshole, and you're still being like, you're this perfect angel, and this is not who you are, and I just don't believe Lucy and Lucy, blah blah blah, and then they end up together,
So
and
weird.
they're engaged too. He mentions it like, oh, my
Mhm.
fiance, I can't stop,
He's like, I can't get used
I
to
can't get
saying the
used
word
to that.
fiance. I was like,
I
"What?"
can't get
Oh
used to
my
you having
god.
hair. Yeah, I just
Fast forward to their wedding. I could just
yes,
picture, like, them showing later on, like, their wedding and, like, Lucy, like, tackling her at the altar. Lydia
yes.
specifically, not Steven,
Does
not Steven.
it
I
Yes.
could
does
see
and
her I could see literally Lucy just, like, them being, "Oh,
anyone
uh,
object?
is anyone" right, "Anyone objections? Speak now or forever hold your
And then you
peace."
just hear like the
Lucy's just
WWE SmackDown music, and Lucy's just coming down like dun
Lucy's just
dun dun
running down the
dun.
aisle and just right, and
Yes.
just knocks
And it's
Lydia
like,
out.
where did she come from? She wasn't even invited. Dun dun.
And
Just
then they
like
just
she
pan
comes
over to
out with a
Steven and
chair.
he's right. Give me the
A
chair.
chair.
Yeah. I can't imagine like and then you just see like everyone else cheering in the
That
background like,
fight,
yeah.
I don't know if anybody's seen the Jake Paul
Oh
Mike Tyson
god.
fight, but that would be a way better fight than that
I
by
would pay
far.
more money to see that than I
Yes.
would. First of all, like, you're fighting someone that's like 60 years old and you're in your mid
Oh, it was
20s.
staged. Oh, it was
Oh,
so
it's
staged.
staged.
We watched the live stream. You should have seen, not to divert. See, this is Bree, this is what we were talking about tangents. This is what we do, but it
Yes.
wasn't a real fight. In short, if you haven't seen it, it wasn't a real fight. The fights before it were very real. The
Yes.
girls before that fight, two women were fighting. They were beating the shit out of each other, and the
Yes.
fight was not getting called. I thought the one girl was gonna lose her eye,
Oh, I
like the
saw
way
the
her
picture.
eyebrow
Yep.
was like getting. Oh no,
Oh,
but.
yeah.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul didn't even touch each other. They were like dancing around each other and they like hugged and they're like Jake Paul wins. I'm like, what are you
Yeah,
talking
also
about?
everyone was saying the highlight of
Um,
that Netflix show was Mike Tyson's ass just out.
it was like in the back. I don't know why it happened. I thought he was gonna come out like that. Like that would have been funny as
That would
hell
have
if
been
he would have
so
like came
funny.
out and fought like that. But he was
Yeah.
just back like in the like getting ready and they just like interview because they interviewed them beforehand and he's just
Yes.
like walking around in like assless chaps for
Well, like it's so funny because it's not like he like spins or like it's not like he's walking and he turns around. No, the shot of him in that scene is just him full on walking with his ass out first before he even interviews, and you're like, okay, didn't need to see some 6-year-old ass today, but I guess that's how that's going. But
But
everyone in the yeah.
He even spoke out on it. He's like, I know his family. I knew him since he was like a little kid. Like he knew the family, and he was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I'm not like it was just a pay. It was a paycheck. That's all it
yeah,
was. But I'm just like, okay. How about Jake Paul fight someone his own age? You know what I mean?
yeah. And I think he
But
lost
he
one
won't because
fight,
he's
and it was to someone closer to his age. But
yeah,
everyone
because
else he's fought
he fights
has been
people out of
twice
his
as yeah,
he fights people out of his age bracket because he knows if he does fight somebody his own age, he's gonna get his ass beat.
yeah.
So,
And
but
it takes it
anyway.
a yeah, I just can't. But yeah, Lucy would definitely come into the
The fight between Lucy and Lydia would be
oh
way
yes.
more like a way
Oh,
better fight, and it wouldn't even
Lucy,
be
I
real.
feel like Lucy's a biter too. I feel like she would full on like grab your arm and just latch on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
I
Lydia,
mean, you saw the whole
yeah,
bit with Diana. Don't even
but
give her a
she just
chance to
slapped her across. So yeah,
give her
Lucy.
Lucy's like, "Give me a damn reason."
I
I
feel like
swear to
Lucy would be that one that's standing on like I should be standing on the like corner and like banging her
Mhm.
elbow before she like jumps on her.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
she's also fought in defense of Lydia because remember when she had the whole thing with her like ex-boyfriend? She's like, "Oh, please, like
Oh,
like I
she
dare, like
punched.
you
Yeah,
remember
Lydia's
on
ex.
the when
Yeah,
she's talking to her on like Christmas or whatever, and then she's like, "Come to this party. He's gonna be at this party." I'd like, you know, like we just like punch him in the face, and then she's like, "Okay," and she goes to the party
she
and
just
punches
walks
him.
up. They're all both of them are drunk out of their mind. Walks up to
Uh-huh.
some random guy and it's
Because
like
they were
Mike.
drinking at
Yeah,
the hotel that she was in
yeah,
or
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
and which
forgot
is
about that.
yeah, and then they where's Michael and he's like I don't know inside. Go get him. Why?
Go
Just go get him. And
go get
then
him.
he comes out and she just full on just swings. And
Yeah.
then they just run off. I'm like, that's
So again,
trippy.
Lucy's always like, just give me a reason. I will.
Yes. I mean, she's been through so much. Let her have it. Let her go.
God, I can't see season 3, Lucy. Watch out! Like I don't even know
She
what
better
could
have a
possibly.
she better have the best storyline of her life. And she better like
Uh-huh.
turn herself around because
Yes,
Girlie needs
during
a redemption
yeah,
arc so bad.
yes, during
something.
the last episode, they're in the hotel room before the wedding. They're in the hotel room
Hmm.
and she's texting Steven. Why she still has Steven's number? God knows what. Because she ends up with Max,
Right.
who's the guy from the coffee shop who she spent Christmas with at the hotel. She ends up with him. And she's texting Steven, meet me at the pool in like 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
And this scene pissed me off too.
Hmm.
She goes to the
This was
pool.
pretty early on too in the season.
Yeah.
They do this. I'm pretty sure.
They show it. They show them briefly, and I think they bring it back in the last episode. But
Yeah.
she texts him to come meet us by the pool, and then they pan to Lucy and Max having sex in the hot tub, and then of course that's when Steven walks out and sees them having sex, and then she continues to have sex until she's finished, and then Steven walks away, and then Steven texted Lucy, and Max saw it on her phone. But the thing is, Max had her passcode. Like, I'm not in a relationship, but like, I would not be sharing my passcode with anybody.
I mean, if it's different if you're just like, "Oh, look at my like, open my phone, I need you to check," like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you might just be like that, but, like, I don't know. Like,
Like
she
Max
kinda
full
left it,
on
like, wide.
like Max full on was just like, "Oh, she's got a message," and she typed in the passcode and saw that it was Steven. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that's weird. But also, what Lucy did was just awful. And the fact that
Oh, that's
Steven,
weird.
and also the fact that Steven watched them the entire time. Like, he didn't leave right away and be like, "Oh, that's weird," and left. Like, he watched them have sex.
Mhm. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
He's so
So,
sick.
But
so,
also, what was Lucy's plan there? Like, what if he had walked I don't get what the plan was. Like, what if she wanted him to see? Because,
yes.
like, what if he would've just walked like, Max found out later because of the text message, but, like, what if Steven, being his, like, usual self, had, like, walked over and, like,
Yes.
said something?
Or what if he
What
came from
then?
the opposite
Like, what?
direction? What if he came in the opposite direction where Max was facing and Lucy couldn't see him, but
Right,
Max could? And, like,
right,
you
right. So
know,
Hmm.
I don't know.
yeah,
And
and
then
then
she has those, like that's when she has her, like, weird, like, toxic moments, like, I think it's a I'm gonna psychoanalyze a little bit here for a second, but I think it's like Lucy's, like, when she has something good happening for too long, she has to create, like, a chaotic thing that
yes.
happened to happen again.
Yeah,
Because like, even though it was a toxic time with her and Steven, she, like, liked the chaos of it in a weird
yes.
way, which is toxic in
Because they
itself,
were both
obviously,
Yep.
but
they were both toxic and chaotic to each other, so, like, it balanced
Mhm.
out, but, like,
Yeah.
Max was too good, and Leo even, despite him having, like, anger issues, like, he was a good guy to her,
Mhm.
'cause she
Yeah.
wasn't used to that, but Steven and both of them together were just so bad for each other that, like, they were just always in chaos, so it never mattered. But
Mhm.
yeah, so Evan, they flash back to when Evan was talking with Steven about it. Steven, comes back in and he's acting like it's fine. It's totally fine that you slept with my ex-girlfriend. No worries. I was with Diana. Like, he was too calm about it.
Yeah.
And given how he treated
Mm.
Wrigley after he found out Diana slept with him, like, you would think
Mhm.
he would be treating him the same way, but he was totally normal about it. Like, you didn't see anything happen. And then when you
Yeah.
fast forward, and this is what got me. Fast forward to the wedding, and they're all getting
Oh.
ready.
Oh.
Oof. They're all getting ready, and Bree gets a text message from Steven. Again, why does she have Steven's number? He's the
My only guess
asshole.
is wedding related things, but I don't
Yeah,
know why it
that's
wouldn't be
true.
in, like, a group text instead of, like, an individual, I don't know. But
Yes. But
the most
she,
pettiest move of all time.
yes. So everyone's asking where Steven is. No one knows where Steven is. And then Breeze gets a text message from Steven, and it's an audio message from that moment he had with Evan, where he recorded Evan saying he slept with Lucy. And so,
Mhm.
like, so toxic.
He literally just texted it to her, like, "Boop,
Yep.
nothing's here." But
Yeah,
then he's
that's all
conveniently
he's.
the one that they're waiting on. Like, he's physically nowhere to be found
Yes.
when it happens.
And the
So
fact
it's
that he
just like,
held on
he
to
drops the
that,
bomb
he had
for what?
held on to
8
that,
years? 7, 8 years?
yeah,
Something
8 or
like that?
so years, because he knew they would probably end up back together.
God.
And he waited until he knew that they were going to get married to do it at the wedding. Like, not even
Yeah.
doing it before the wedding. Like, you could have done it
Yeah.
when they were engaged and then they would have called everything off. No, you did it the day of her wedding,
No, he waited until the wedding day
the
because
wedding
he was
day.
like
And she just kind of stood there. And then you see Lucy come over and it's like, "Oh, you look like you're ready to go. You look great. Like, you're ready to go." And she's like, "Mhm." And
she's
then,
just kind of, like, standing there.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
with, like,
that's it.
her face
Yep.
changed.
And
Yep.
that's all you, yep. And that's how they end it.
Yep.
And they said, "End of season 2. Goodbye."
And I'm like,
Just like,
"Excuse me?"
"What?
And
What?"
then, well, because Bree's getting a text message multiple times, or right, of like a phone
Uh-huh.
call,
Uh-huh.
and so I'm always wondering who that phone call is. So I'm
Oh
wondering,
yeah.
they never mention it, and so I'm wondering if they bring that up also in season 3 because it's not clearly not Steven.
Yeah, because
Because
later
he's
on.
all he did was just text the thing. So I'm
Hmm.
wondering who keeps calling and why, like, every time they're calling, someone walks by and she just quickly, like, closes the phone. So, like, that I need to figure out. What
There's so
happened? Yeah.
much. There's so much. What Yeah, I mean that's the end of the season. But like, is that what's like the number one thing? I mean, I'm looking to find out. Like, I don't even know. I guess I kind of want to find out the specifics of like how Steven and Lydia do get together and like
Yes.
where that ends up going.
Yeah. And
Brie,
then,
what are you most excited to find out in season 3? Do you have anything in particular?
Well, like we know that Steven and Lucy like break up and get back together, or probably break up again and get back together over the
mm-hmm.
course of I don't know, what was it, like 7 years or so? Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just want to see like
Yes.
what happens. Like why do they
Right. Because at the
they should just
end,
stay apart. Why do they keep getting back together?
yes. And there's that one scene where he texted her to come over and
Mhm.
she goes into the dorm room and he basically says, like, we're made for each other because we're
Mm,
both the same way and you're the only person
crazy.
that's ever loved me and for who I was and for everything that ever happened. But then they're not together at the wedding. So somewhere along the line they stop talking. But then
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
fucked before the wedding. And then at the wedding he sends that message to Brie. So I need to know, yeah, at some point, how does he get from on and off with Lucy to getting with Lydia? Or was he doing it at the same time? Like, I need to know that. And I also kind of want to see Pippa and Diana's relationship.
Yeah, like how they get
Oh
together and
Yeah,
yeah.
because,
what's the whole thing about when they're being secretive and then they're like, "Oh, are they both there?" Like, is that just them checking in on
yes.
who's at the events, or are they planning something against Steven? Which would be so cool if they were
Yes.
doing that
Again,
at
with the
the
chair.
same
They both
time.
come out with the chair.
Yes.
Right.
But I feel like the
I
way
feel
they.
like Pippa it's like it's Lydia and
Oh my
and
god.
Steven's it's Lydia and Steven's wedding, but I think Lucy would be going after Lydia, and I think Pippa would just like hit Steven with the chair.
And I feel like Diana would just either also hit Steven or just cheer everyone on.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
feel
To be
like
like,
maybe
I
she'd
am a
be too
pacifist.
dainty
Like,
and like,
I am a
yeah.
pacifist. I am not.
Yeah,
I'm not getting my hands
yeah, she'd be
dirty.
like the little
Right.
dainty, like I can't get my nails ruined. Meanwhile, because you saw at the end of I think maybe episode 7,
Mhm.
where Lucy, Brie, and Pippa destroy Oliver's car. So,
Yeah.
which is also another reason why I
Yep.
think Lucy would just go in with a chair and just beat the shit out of him. Or
Nobody,
yeah,
and as they used the caption on Instagram, they're like, nobody messes with the poussoirs.
yes. Honestly,
I love that.
can we all, do they make sweaters? Can we all get their sweaters?
Yeah, poussoir. Those sweaters that they had, those like pink ones that they had when they were at that one party or whatever. When like Oliver ran into Brie and she had like the sweater on that said like poussoir or
Yes.
something. Yeah,
We need them.
Okay.
yeah,
I'm gonna. They do. Wait. Okay.
they do. They have them.
Amazon has them for $20.
Wait,
That was fast. That was so
Oh, I'm
fast.
on my PC, so I can do. So, what
what did
colors do
you
you?
type in? What did you
Poussoir.
type?
I typed in Poussoir sweatshirt. Tell me lies. But I had to type in Tell Me
Oh my
Lies
god.
afterwards because I was like, if I just type in Poussoir, like I don't want to know what comes
Does
up.
that mean right? Does that mean something?
And I feel like it does. But you got your colored
Are you
options.
looking at the one that? Are you looking at the one that's like? Because I'm on my phone too, and I'm looking. Are you looking at the one that's like pink? And
Yeah,
has like
yeah, with the red lighting or writing. But
red.
don't worry, you've got black, light blue, dark red, green, gray, like a kayak color, orange, blue. You got a lot of colors, but you got to go with pink because
Uh
it's
huh.
bourgeois. So like,
Yep.
and I love like they have a guy modeling the sweatshirt with no writing on it. Like he's like, I'll wear this pink sweatshirt for the picture, but I'm not having to say poussoir on it.
Mhm.
Okay, I know what I'm getting everyone for Christmas. Text me your sizes.
My
I
God.
We have to take a
Wait,
picture
can
of
this
this one
actually
wearing.
happen? I
no,
really
yeah.
want one.
Okay, they're only $20 on Amazon, so please tell me.
That's not bad.
That's
That's
not
not
bad.
bad.
Um,
I'm
yeah.
crying.
Text me all your sizes.
Oh my
You heard,
God.
you heard it here first.
Yes.
Oh man.
I can't
I think
wear
this
it
is a
out in
great
public, but you know,
I mean, you kind of can. Nobody knows exactly what it means. I mean, you can kind of guess. I mean, it doesn't mean pussy, but
yes.
You can just make up something. Like
Oh, it's
right,
an anagram.
puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an anagram.
For what?
right.
For pussy.
Puppies, something.
Yeah. There.
Oh man,
Yes. Okay. This is great.
Puppies united
yeah.
Station.
safely
Yeah. Safely.
with adults. I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's great. Yeah. But I was so pissed off. Um, at the end
Yeah,
when you heard that message, like he literally held on to that grudge and that message for like 8+ years to just throw it at the wedding. Like you're an
yeah.
asshole. I can't.
Yeah, I don't think nobody can beat Steven in the game of being toxic
No.
because no matter what anybody else
Mm.
in the show has done, nobody's done something as psychotic and crazy as
Yeah.
waiting 8 years to drop a bomb on someone like that.
Yes.
Like that's like you need mental health.
Yeah.
Like
You
something's
need.
wrong with
Yeah.
him. Fully.
If you're
I mean, we
holding.
get it because we see where he comes from in the show. Like we see how his mom is.
Oh
That
yeah.
sounds like something that his mom in the show would do,
Yes.
you know? So it's like it fully checks out that he is the way he is
Oh
because of
yeah.
like where he
I
came
mean,
from.
it's like in season one when his mom went to the specific flower shop that he knew his ex husband's wife was at.
Right, right. And then went to the restaurant and was like, "Oh yeah, we should definitely go to this restaurant." And then he was like, "Well, we could go to this one. It's a little closer." And then she's like, "No, we should go to this restaurant."
And
And then
then
all of a
he
sudden she's
says,
like,
yeah,
"Right, right." And then the dad's there. And then she's
yeah.
like, "Oh, I didn't know he was gonna be there." I'm
But then
like,
I
"Sure."
love because he was like, yeah, I guess we can go to this restaurant. She's like, so you agree? You want to go
So
to
we're gonna
this
go to this
restaurant?
restaurant.
You
Right.
want to like you agree that like we can go to this restaurant? Like you agree? And he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fine.
Steven's like unfortunately a spitting
Yeah.
image of his mom.
And you
Like
don't have, and it
the
sucks
toxicity
because
Yep.
wise.
you don't have to be that way. Like you can get out of it and you know
Break the cycle.
break the cycle. I mean, look at
Exactly.
Eminem, like where he came from and everything in his life. Like he broke the cycle because he knew he did not want to be the way his dad was for his own kids,
Mhm.
and he broke the cycle. And
Yes.
look at him, like. But nope, Steven just
So
let.
so
Yeah,
so right. So in conclusion, be an Eminem, do not be a
uh,
Stephen DeMarco.
yeah, Steven fucking
Okay.
DeMarco. Yeah,
Yep.
God.
yeah, I
God.
can't.
I
Do
think that's a good place to call it. What do
yes,
you
and
think?
also, do you have any memories?
So many well, I mean, I don't know if we want to do memories this week because I was about to say we don't want to leave out Brie because Brie hasn't had Facebook for this
That's
long,
true.
but I don't know. Maybe we could. I don't know. I could share it just
I'll share
share.
mine. Let me
Okay.
see. Because why? Um, 12 years ago, October
Mhm.
9th, 2012, she Sebophobia, fear of food.
Uh-huh.
Sebophobia, it's probably pronouncing it wrong, but sebophobia is the fear of food. And then underneath it, I said, that would never happen to me with the old school smiley face.
Okay.
Oh
That would
my
never
God.
happen.
With the
That would never
colon
happen to
and
me.
the parentheses. That would never
That would
happen to
never
me.
happen.
Alrighty.
Okay.
All right. I got 2 likes on that. So what's that?
Hey.
And it's
Well, hey,
pro
I don't have
yeah.
many memories coming up for this day. I just have one from 2010 that just says, "So tired with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 O's. So honestly, I feel that girl. I've been so tired
Tired.
since 20.
And it's
I
only
was about
getting
to comment
worse.
on my
Yes.
I wish I could comment on my own status and reply to myself back then and be like, "Girl, this is 2010. Trust me, you don't know what tired is
Yeah. Well, just you
yet."
wait until you get to 2024. You're gonna
Yeah,
feel much worse.
you don't have much time.
I just
They're like, "It gets better. It gets better." Just be like, "It gets worse." Hard.
It gets worse. Like when they say, "Oh, you have to keep trying the medication or whatever, and
Mhm.
it gets worse before it gets better." Nope,
Mhm. Like,
it
no,
just
it
gets
just
worse.
gets. Oh man.
Like,
Yeah, that's the only, I guess, on this particular day, because when you bring up Facebook memories, it only shows, I mean, you can do see all memories, but it's only from that particular day.
yes,
So
yeah,
I literally have nothing else besides that. And then I have a status from 2014 about me, Andrea, and Crystal going to a Cabrini basketball games
yes, I have that same memory. It says,
10 years ago.
yeah,
I
and
think it was my status.
yeah, it was
Actually,
your
going to a
status, and it
Cabrini game,
actually
amazing.
amazing. There's 5
Nice.
comments on it, and then so here's how the conversation goes. Actually going to a Cabrini game, amazing. Tags us both in it. You tag us both in it. And then I
Uh
go, watch us lose. And you go, true.
huh.
And then Crystal goes, have some hope. I could buy someday Dayquil at the school store tomorrow with the
Go
winky
ahead.
face. And then Crystal
Go
goes,
ahead.
go ahead. Because, girl,
You're
the Dayquil.
you in summary, without revealing personal things that have happened, but you on Dayquil is just a
It's
fun time.
funny. It's a good time. And let me tell you, when I'm sick and
It is.
when I'm sick and I go on Dayquil and I have to go to work, I'm literally driving to work being like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I'm not high and I'm not seeing things, like, I'm not hallucinating, but, like, part of me feels
You're
I'm
like,
like, "What the fuck is like,
that's the
okay,
see, so you guys are debating on what it feels like to be on edibles, probably close to that feeling.
So I feel
That's the
like
closest you'll get to.
if I ever do try one of your edibles, I'm I'm almost positive I'm gonna act the same way as I do on Dayquil, but probably
I
10
can,
times
like,
worse. Yeah.
I can't wait.
we'll just micro dose it. I will cut it
Yeah.
into little pieces,
A little
because
time.
it's always better to have a little bit and, like, be like, "Oh, I need more," than, like, "Oh, I took too much." Like, you know
Yes.
what I mean? Then you can't
Yeah.
go back until it's, like,
Yeah.
over, which would
Mhm.
only be a couple hours, but edibles is, like, a whole thing because you have to, like, digest it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not
Anyway,
trying to talk about the science of edibles, but yeah.
back to
Yeah,
the
we
real tea. I'm going to buy us all Poussoir sweaters for Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I can't wait.
It's gonna
I
be
need Christmas to happen.
a poussoir Christmas.
It's gonna be a Poussoir. Yes.
Alright, well,
This
Oh
is
my god.
okay.
all of
This
our
is
socials
uh,
are in our bio.
yes. And we have a YouTube channel now for all
Yeah, we
those who
do.
have not. This If this is your first episode, we have a YouTube channel. Everything goes up on there.
Mhm.
Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This is kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yes.
we got all the socials. Catch up on our episodes,
Yes.
and yeah,
And
we're
to
gonna
that 1% in Mexico, we love you.
we love Viva la Mexico.
Yeah.
And
Ah.
to the biggest fan of the pod that we have from Delaware, we want to thank Bree for coming
Woot
on the
woot.
pod
Woot.
today to discuss Tell Me Lies with us.
Yes.
And then I think we should make this a thing
Thanks
that we just
for
make each
having
other.
me.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, there we go.
Or
We
this
should just
one.
make this a thing that we like
I
make each other
squeeze
watch the
and
shows that we
squeeze
like.
and squeeze
Not
and squeeze.
the rainbows.
The
I
rainbow
squeeze.
sponge lady. So
I love
funny.
if like people don't know what that is and they just hear at the end of the recording, I
And
squeezed
squeeze
and
and
squeeze.
squeeze and squeeze.
They're like, okay. They're like, okay.
Okay. Because again, we were drunk and watching a 30-minute video of the rainbow sponge lady while Bray decided she was gonna be drunk and go to the gym. So
Okay.
not to not to
Yeah.
air out your dirty laundry. But no, you
It's
were
Well,
trying.
okay.
who
You're
Fun,
spotted you?
fun, fun college times. Fun college
But no,
times.
while you were doing that, like her and I were hardcore drunk, just like staring and watching like a 30-minute video of the rainbow sponge commercial It's great.
The extended infomercial, which
Extended
I don't even know
infomercial.
why it was 30 minutes long. It was like it was almost like as if she had a QVC special, like just
Yes.
like the entire.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But anyway,
But anyway,
yes.
before we air out any more of our dirty laundry, check out our socials, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.
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 Who's why you later?